If you think that watercolor painting is rigid and fuddy-duddy, we are about to prove you wrong, because we are going to be very expressive and working intuitively, and we don't know what's going to happen, but we are going to make expressive figures. And are we using sources, I think, a little bit?
Possibly.
Possibly.
It might just be out of our mind. Because what we want to do is create some sort of abstract in the beginning and start to pull a figure from that.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of go through some examples and what we're going to do and get started painting in just a minute. Just some quick intros. My name is Elli Milan. I'm the founding owner of Milan Art Institute, and I've been a professional artist for 30 years. What is your story, Alannah?
My name's Alannah Anderson, and I am with Milan Art now for about 4 years, I believe, working with the team full time. And yeah, I also am a professional artist, and I love watercolor. I didn't used to love watercolor, but it's now something that I do on a regular basis, as well as my other oil painting and mixed media.
I used to absolutely hate watercolor and didn't think I was cut out for it because I'm too spontaneous and heavy-handed, and then Alannah proved me wrong, because we were doing an art retreat in Italy this year, and she was teaching watercolor there, and I thought, Alannah, you got to teach me watercolor, because I got to help the students tomorrow, and I don't even know how to do this. And so we stayed up all night, and I had a breakthrough. She taught me, I really loved it, and the rest is history.
I had to find a way also to love the medium, because I felt that the traditional way of painting with watercolor was really frustrating and really tight and controlled. Yeah, we found some techniques that were much more freeing and able to be more expressive. So
yeah, and that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to start with a teeny tiny bit of show and tell. I have a couple things that I guess are done, and so do you. So do we want to do like this or like this? Okay, like this. So you can see hers and you can see mine. And you can see like a little bit of a style difference. This is one of my looser ones. And these are all here out of my head. And I think you too. You didn't really use sources either.
Well, these ones I did use a source. And
okay.
These ones were a lot different. So it was like putting the color down and then seeing like, where can I see some sort of a person in this? And so this one I subtracted out the water using a technique that we can show you. This one I saw these legs here and a bit of a torso, and so I extended the leg and filled in the rest. This one was also, these are all without a source. This one with a source. This one is, I would say, not finished. Yeah, so these ones are just something that has, obviously this one's not a source because it's quite disproportionate, but I kind of liked how it turned out.
I like how it's stylized. It's like a grown woman inside of a womb.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. This is another one I did. This might be one of my favorite ones, even though it's not as far along or as developed. I guess I like how understated it is, which is rare for me. I usually kind of overstate.
I love the colors in this one.
Yeah, I like the colors too. This was another one. So I have a couple that are half-baked. Here, this one is, I call this my Tim Burton figure. It's just started. So this will be fun to see if I can actually do anything with it. This is another one that I started from just, intuitively out of my head, looking at, kind of like looking into the clouds. Have you guys done that? You look at the clouds and you're like, I see Santa Claus riding a panda bear, and then everybody sees it and they're like, oh yeah. So it's kind of like that. You're looking in the clouds and you're looking and searching for a figure, and it is quite fun. So if you guys have some watercolors, get them out and let's do this together. Like get your brushes, get your water, get going and follow along. Here's another one that is, started, but these two are problem childs. They're not, I like this one much better. And then I'm gonna start some. So I think first we're gonna start with just like
Yeah, well,
getting something going, because we
need it
kind of
to
need
dry.
some drying time. So then
Yeah.
we'll work on the half-baked ones
Yeah.
in between.
I was going to explain just with this one. So this one, I can see the beginning of a figure because it kind of looks like an arm coming
that's
over.
good. Yeah, to
and
kinda-
then there's a head here. And so that's kind of how I'll probably proceed with that and maybe do some legs in the foreground, like she's crouching back. So that's kind of what we're looking for. You're trying to see, or you could turn it around as well. Like you could spin it around until you see some sort of a torso or a limb or something.
And a good way to go when you do see something like that, like the head, the arm, the hand, you know, and maybe some legs here. Maybe she's sitting like in a chair, cross-legged. You feel your way to it, because I don't know about you, but I can't just automatically see it and just draw this perfect figure.
Yeah.
I have to sort of poke my way at it. And I might start with like the head and the arm, and I'll do it by just moving the paint, getting a wet brush and just kind of moving the paint until I begin to see it more. Once something is a little more definite, then I'll get more committed. So when we get to that part, we can kind of walk through or think out loud for you of how we're going about doing that. So I just have various types of paper taped. I'm using this Arches block, and then these are all Arches sheets. This is a Fabriano, and it's a rough. And then this is a Fabriano, just normal. No, this isn't. This is that Italian paper we got on the trip. What's the name of that company? Manuel or something?
Manualis.
Manualis.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I have different kinds of paper, and I don't know. I'm just going to start.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about our exciting tools that we have here?
Oh yeah. So coming soon to an art store near you. It's actually just one art store. It's online. It's called Milan Art Store. We have our brand new. We have them in. We're just need to get them up on the website. So this is like very soon, within weeks. We have these amazing brushes. They're called Poetic. That's what we named them, because we believe watercolor is very poetic. And you have to be a poet, really, and we're all poets. You're a poet, okay? So you have to like pull on that poetic side of you to work with it and flow with it and not against it. That's the main thing. And basically turn your wet, flowy pigment into a poem. And so that's why we name them Poetic. And they are such a fabulous brush set. You wouldn't really need anything else. I love these. I love working with them. And aren't they beautiful? So
Yeah, and we have partnered with an Italian brand called Tintoretto, and so these are Italian made, and they're just fantastic. They're the best brushes. I think you're gonna love them. So
yeah, and if you've never used a Tintoretto brush, then you're missing out. They are next level. Yeah, I honestly couldn't use any other watercolor brush once I used a Tintoretto.
yeah, I agree. All my brushes, and now I have a new set. So
And Dimitra's utterly obsessed with them.
Yeah.
She can't handle any brush besides a Tintoretto. So, yeah, so that's exciting. I don't have a plan. I'm just going for it.
yeah, I don't have a plan either. And you've taped off your paper. I haven't taped off my paper.
So I'm using this color called zircon. What would you call that? Like a mauve-y brown?
Yeah, it's like a gray, but it has purpley kind of pigment in it as well, and it granulates.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of working dry. So I didn't wet my paper at all. This is just dry. And I am just getting some color down. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to use this like peach here. And it'll kind of mix into the zircon.
I think it really helps too with this process to not have a plan in mind. For if you start out like with a sketch, it can kind of keep you tight with the watercolor.
Yeah, I tried it. When, just the other day when I was working on some figures for this workshop, and actually we both did, and we agreed as soon as we got out a source and our little pencils, and we started just sketching and measuring and getting it just so, then
it was coloring in then.
Yeah, then I went into the watercolor. I said I never liked, that it's just too tight and rigid. So, okay, now on this one, I think I'm gonna wet it first. So I'm just getting, I'm gonna try to do something reclining. Maybe it will work or maybe not. So, so I'm like, I don't know if you can see it glistening in the sun here, but can we see that? Is it glistening? So I kind of did a figure shape, right? Can you see like the legs, the torso, the arm, and the head? I mean, it's very crude. It looks like a caveman drawing, but it's like the start of a hope of maybe this will turn into a figure. And so I'm just putting that on with water. And then now I'm going to just pick some kind of color here and just start dropping it in, and it'll begin to move. And that's kind of what you did, huh?
Yeah, I like to try and keep the watercolor the same consistency, so not too much water, try and keep the same mixture. It's kind of just something you feel out. You can't kind of measure it. There's no way to measure how much water is in your brush. It's just something that you get a feel for. And when you keep the consistency the same, they blend together really nicely. So you don't get sort of unusual things happening on the paper because it's the same water consistency as the pigment.
And as you can see, mine looks just like a figure here. Reclining nude, it's what I call it.
Yeah, I'm trying to just not think too hard about making something just yet. I might plan something a little more next, but.
And wouldn't you say to work this way with watercolor, like you do want to kind of work on many things at a time, right?
Yeah, I can't sit personally for a long time on one thing. I like to just start something because maybe it's because I'm impatient. I don't want to wait for it to dry, so I move on to the next thing. And then when that layer's dry, I'll bring it back. It's good to work in layers. If you keep going when it's really wet, that's when you can start to make a little bit of mud. So everything will sort of mush together too much. But I like dropping in some brighter pigments even in that first wash layer, and then it does always dry much lighter than what you think it will. Unless you're coming in with a straight pigment, then it's going to be much darker. And by saying that, I mean taking pigment straight out of the tube and putting it onto your paper. So I might leave this one and grab a
I
new
got
sheet.
a little bit of a rainbow going on.
If you get a watercolor block like this, this is also something I didn't know immediately, but it's helpful to have a palette knife because you can slide that under. There's usually one opening and it's glued all the way around. And you can just slide the palette knife, if I can do it. There we go.
You're taking it off? Oh, because you want to take it off.
Yeah.
Ah.
You'll find with good quality 100% cotton watercolor paper, it won't buckle as badly as something that's not 100% cotton. So you can find watercolor paper that's made up of different things, not cotton. It usually will flatten out much nicer. So
I'd love to hear, since you made the claim that there's people out there that think watercolor is a little fuddy-duddy.
Uh-oh, did we get in trouble?
No. But I'd like to hear what were some of the things you found? Because when you first started watercolor painting, you had to learn it before you loved it. What were the fuddy-duddy things about it to you?
It's like, I think because it's really hard to control, it made me want to control it. So I became very rigid and and wanted to basically control it. But it's not, if you work that way where everything is in control, and I used to paint watercolor, I mean, like I learned in college the traditional way. I actually had a very, very incredible watercolor teacher that taught us, and we did trompe-l'oeil. So it was all about realism. And, you know, you start with your yellows, and then you move up in your colors, and you move up in your darks, and you work light to dark, and you just work layer upon layer, you know, letting it dry between layers, all of that. And you just basically build your values and get the shapes that the shadows and the highlights are doing, draw it first, you know, really perfectly. And I mean, then in the end, you have a very realistic watercolor painting, but the process of it is not enjoyable to me. I don't enjoy that. And so I couldn't get out of that. I wasn't able to just work with it loosely or expressively. And it felt like, it just felt, I don't know, too boring, just too tight and predictable. And so, yeah, as soon as I was watching how Alannah was doing it, and she, you know, kind of gave me a process for it, you know, then I started to fall in love with it.
Yeah, someone in the chat actually just said, watercolor with a palette knife? How fun, I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, so I just took the watercolor directly onto the palette knife, straight out of the tube, because I just squirted this into my palette in here, and then just put a little bit on there, just like regular paint, and just scraped it onto the paper. And then when you wet that, obviously it's going to move. And you can pick up some like different textures and things that you wouldn't normally get with a brush. You can also use a plastic card or something that's a little bit flexible that's going to help you to lay that down.
I want to try it. I want to do it on this one. Okay, this is my last start, and then I got to start doing stuff with it. So what'd you do? Just like you put different colors? Do you wet it first?
I didn't wet it first,
Okay.
but you can, because then you get like this instant like magic effect happen when it goes into the water.
So I should wet it first?
You don't have to. There's no rules. No rules.
But you had me at magic.
Well, I didn't wet this, and then I came and wet it afterwards.
Okay, I'll do it like you.
Okay.
Ooh, this doesn't seem right.
It'll be
I
fine.
see you judging me over there.
No, not at all.
Oh, no, is this, I didn't do too much water?
No. No, so like if you get too much water down, you can always sort of tilt the paper and let the water collect in an area, and then grab paper towel or grab your brush that's damp but not wet and collect it into the brush. So that's one way you can. And it's also like when it's really soupy and wet, sometimes when you just move it around, you get some really beautiful blends too. You don't have to always, you don't have to freak out like if something happens and it's like, too much water.
Yours is prettier. I liked yours better. But mine looks more like
Look
a
how cool
figure.
this color is with the red. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine looks just like a figure, though.
it does. There's going to be a figure in these.
We'll find a figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll figure it out.
We're going to figure it out.
I almost don't want to do anything else to that. I'm just like, I like it. This lavender color that we have with burnt sienna is so pretty. I love it. It's my favorite.
So another thing is I don't obey the rules and I use white. And I'm using this Dr. Martin bleed proof white because it's very potent. And I'm just going to mix a little peach blue into there. And I'm just going to, I have no plan for a figure, but I'm just going to start, moving it around in a shape until,
Can I borrow this?
yeah, until I begin to see something.
I'm trying to change up the colors a little bit. What do we got?
So this kind of looks like a head to me. This kind of looks like, I don't know, a chest maybe, and a big belly. So I'm just going with that, even though I'm not so sure. And when you get stuck, you just go on to another one. At least that's what I do. If you get stuck, you go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it's better to not keep pushing it and overworking it and then getting frustrated. Like, just get another piece of paper.
Yeah. So I'm gonna grab, did I use burnt sienna somewhere? No.
I have some right there. So I was thinking I might just try and like block in something loose and then pull the shape out of it. Try that as a third one.
So I'm just kind of putting some burnt sienna in here because it kind of does cool things with the white because the white's so heavy.
So when y'all are taking this kind of start with a more abstracty loose approach, are you thinking about preserving any of the white of the paper or like trying to leave some spots or?
Not in shapes. You know, that's what you're supposed to do in the traditional sense. And I added white. And as you can see, it kind of mixes in with the layers below it. So that's how I approach it. But then I did leave some white, but not in a shape because I don't know what the shape is going to be. This is just a method, one method out of, you know, a bunch of different methods that you can try. This isn't like a one way to do something, but I just found that if you're struggling like I did with watercolor and loosening up, then, you know, trying something like this might be really good. And it's always good for your mind because it's forcing you to be intuitive and try to see things, you know, and be in the moment and not worried about making a bad painting, not worried about making a mistake. It's just, it's so good for your mind.
And not judging yourself in the process. Like, it's just a really fun way to just let the pigment do what it wants to do and let it be when it's, you know, it needs to dry, let that dry, come back. It doesn't help to be going, oh, I'm terrible at this, you know, like, I guess that's what I'm saying with you saying it's good for your mind. It's good to not be judging yourself in the process.
Well, now I see an astronaut.
So,
Look at my astronaut. He just came out. Like, look, there's the helmet. Here's the big puffy jacket. Here's his puffy leg.
yep.
It's a running, oh, I'm so happy. Okay, so this is gonna sit and dry for a second. And I'm gonna see what else happens here. And
So what I'm doing here is
oh, that's cool. I totally see her.
when it's in a damp stage, it's not sopping wet, but it's soaking into the paper. You can take a clean brush that's you've dabbed all the water out and it's damp, and you can pick up pigment to subtract through. So that's just what I just want to explain that. It's a cool technique to know that you can do if you've put too much down and you just want to lighten an area. That's a really fun tool to have in your watercolor what's the word I'm looking for?
Toolbox.
Skill set.
Someone's asking, what is the white jelly roll on the table? I think they're referring to the Dr. Martens. Is that what that is?
This.
Yeah.
So it's Dr. Martens Bleed Proof White. So it's watercolor. It's very strong watercolor in a really good consistency. I wonder what happened to the lid. There it is. So I kind of see a little bit of a figure emerging. Another thing you can do is take this kind of brush. Maybe I'll just use this script brush. And just, put some color on it. And then you can kind of just, I don't know, like I don't know what this is. This is like a weird block, but I see like a hip or something here and like a leg happening. And so I like to work very faintly where I'm not very committed. I'm just, like looking at the clouds, trying to see it. And like, here's the arm. And see, these lines are just very thin. I could always get rid of them. It's not a big commitment, but it gives me something to look at.
Diana's asking in the chat what she could do to prevent the paper from curling.
You can either, there are a couple of methods that you can use. Our paper is buckling a little bit while it's wet, but then when it's dry, it will totally flatten out. I would make sure that it's 100% cotton, first of all, because it will take a lot more water, be a lot more durable with layers of, re-wetting and re-wetting. But you can also tape the paper down to a board or to a table. You can completely wet both sides of the watercolor paper, and that will help it to also sit flat as it's drying out. And then you can also totally spray down the back of the paper after you're finished, and that when that dries, it'll help to stretch it back out as well.
Yeah, and I know you guys listed some paper in the beginning, but what's y'all's preferred watercolor paper brands?
I like Arches myself. I feel like you have kind of more. You've tried more than me. What do you feel like?
I found a paper that is a little bit cheaper than Arches. Arches is probably the most expensive brand for watercolorists. But I found a Saunders Waterford is a really good quality paper, and it's slightly cheaper than Arches. What's another one? Fabriano 100% cotton is good too. What's the one that you're using? It's is it a Strathmore?
Yeah, I like Strathmore. I think as long as it's 100% cotton and it's like 300 GSM, you really can't go wrong.
100% cotton really is key there too. I've tried to be cheap.
And if you blow it and you make a mistake, like I don't like that color. I'm just like gonna, blot it out. And you can also get just fresh water on it and then, start over. So I used to think watercolor was completely unforgiving, and just this like rotten.
Yeah, as soon as you put it down.
It just holds. I used to think it held grudges, you
Yeah.
know, and was just never giving me any leeway, and I was always wrong. It was always right. But then I started, spending more time with it, and it, started to be nicer to me.
Yeah, you can't sort of be full of fear using it. It's just water and pigment, and you kind of have to move with the water and the pigment and not kind of fight against it and just let it do its thing. If you mix it around too much, it's just going to get overworked. The paper will get overworked. Watercolor paper has like a sizing in it. If you wet it and scrub into it too hard, it's going to upset that, and that also causes buckling. But that's why also having a cotton paper is just going to be more durable. So that was probably the number one thing I wish I had have known in the beginning, is to get good paper. It's like, yes, it costs a little more, but it's so much easier to make something nice with good quality paper. Same as brushes and the watercolor itself. You really need to have good quality tools in order for it to be easier to create something that doesn't frustrate you in the process.
So what do you think is like the best way for a complete beginner to go if they want to explore watercolor painting?
I think like landscapes is a really good way to start.
Yeah.
Very similar to this, where you just do something that feels like an abstract landscape. It gives you a direction than just, totally abstract. So I think that would be a great way to start.
Yeah. I think that's what you teach too in the watercolor foundations class, right?
Yeah, we have a really great course called Watercolor Foundations, and it teaches you. Alannah is the teacher in there, along with Dimitra, my daughter, who's really, really good at watercolor. And she does it really loose and effortless, so she's not, real tight with it. And they teach you from, the very beginning point how to construct your watercolor. And they teach you all the techniques, different ways to, glaze and layer the paint. And
We have 7 different projects in there of different subject matter as well. Different processes, different subject matter. Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's-
Elli teaches in it too. So you didn't mention that.
yeah, I teach the abstract landscape. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And since y'all are here, the first 100 artists to sign up for Watercolor Foundations and use code FIGURE100 will save $100 on the course. I just put a link in the chat too, if you want to check that out. So only the first 100 artists though. So, you snooze, you lose.
it's such a great medium to have under your belt. I used to think that I just didn't have it in me to do watercolor. It didn't fit my temperament. I didn't enjoy it. I liked other things better. So I just didn't put effort into learning as much, or learn how to loosen up with it. So, but since I travel a lot and we do a lot of art retreats, watercolor is it's so versatile, and you can just bring it with you. It's something you can do at night at your kitchen table.
Yeah.
And so maybe you have your studio, and maybe it's somewhere else, or you don't want to get fully invested in an oil painting or something like that, and you just want to do something for 20 minutes or a half hour. Watercolor is great.
Yeah, and I know, Alannah, I've heard you mention how learning how to watercolor paint has kind of helped you in other art forms too.
Oh yeah, I've always struggled with things having to be perfect the whole way through the process, you know, and it really helped me to realize that I can loosen up and I can get to a place with my art where I can start to experiment with different techniques and then see how I might want to incorporate something similar into a larger painting. And it's taught me to just put the paint down and leave it because you really have to do that with watercolor. You can't blend. You can't, the water itself blends the pigment. If you mess with it too much with your brush, it's just, it never ends up drying with this beautiful change in tone and value. So it's really taught me to loosen up and to stop expecting everything to be perfect immediately, as I'm going through my process. It's helped me to relax and just really enjoy making art. If I can't fit it into my schedule to be producing a larger painting, I can at least sit and make a couple of studies pretty quickly. And then it's like a creative outlet that I just really love to have. It's accessible. You can, like Ellie said, sit at the kitchen table and it's not messy. You can clean it up. It doesn't require a big setup in the studio. So it's just nice when you don't have flexibility in your schedule sometimes to just be able to pull out your watercolors and make a quick sketch observation of the way the color looks on a certain object or something like that. Yeah, just a couple of reasons, but it's become something that I really, really do all the time. So, and it's also taught me to see color differently too, and to observe color in nature differently. When we were in Italy, we were teaching a sort of an abstract landscape lesson. So not something I had a lot of experience in was sitting and painting in nature. And it just really taught me to see color differently too, because it's a very sensitive medium with color. You let the white of the paper come through for the vibrancy. And so I would be looking at the clouds and thinking, how would I mix that color? How would I make that happen, that glow happen in watercolor? So yeah, it's been a really fun journey for me, learning with the medium.
And I think it's a great medium to find your voice in. I think that, I used to think, okay, I just don't have the temperament for watercolor, so don't even try to find your voice in it, because everything is so soft and mellow. And whenever I did do things bright, which is kind of how I like to paint, then it didn't look right, and so I couldn't find myself in it. And the longer I do it and the more I do it, I'm able to really find my voice in it and who I am in it, and then that in turn has deepened my voice and everything else I'm doing, and I kind of take it into my other work, which I would consider as the artwork that I sell, that I'm more serious about. And watercolor is more, for me. I mean, I have sold a couple watercolor paintings, but it's not my main, my main medium that I like to use. But I've really learned a lot from it in terms of my voice. It's another facet of your voice that you get to discover, and then you carry it into your other art. And I find myself lately doing things I do in watercolor into my other paintings,
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. And I definitely, as far as intuitive kind of work.
Oh yeah.
It's
really good.
Yeah, because with oil, I don't know, I don't, I'm just kind of pulling this, astronaut creature here. And I never would have done that. I never would paint an astronaut. That's not my thing. But this is getting me to discover, if I would, what would it look like, you know? And I think it's a confident. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I've had an insecurity about being able to paint from my head, because I really, my husband is so good at it, and I kind of stink at it. So it's built my confidence in being able to paint from my head and just make something up and not use a source. So I find that kind of liberating and fun.
I think it's a really good skill to develop.
Yeah.
It's just so much more freeing when you're not sitting stuck to an image too. Like, I mean, it has its place. You've got to study something to get something super accurate, but it's really, I think, a good skill to practice, just creating totally from your right brain and not over-analyzing, and just, yeah, you get into some sort of flow where it feels really good.
Look, my astronaut has a laptop on his chest.
That's so interesting.
It was there.
She's cobraing.
She's what?
Cobraing?
Cobraing.
Oh, no, that's that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cobra stance.
What's this one?
That's half cobra.
Oh, so she's like half
Yeah,
aggressive.
half committed to being aggressive.
Someone was wondering, can you watercolor paint on canvas?
Yeah, they make watercolor canvases. I haven't ever used one though.
They make a watercolor medium ground, like watercolor ground. We tested it out.
Yeah, I have tested that.
Yeah. But straight onto canvas, it doesn't really, kind of balls up, and it doesn't like flow. You would probably need to use like a raw, like linen or something for it to soak in, if that makes sense. But it's probably better with an ink, more of a fluid acrylic, to get a similar look as watercolor, or to have a surface that's kind of mimicking paper for it to slow the drying time, whereas it just repels when it's like on a primed canvas, it just kind of repels it.
Man, an hour goes by really fast.
Oh yeah,
I
had,
know.
like-
get
I had
some
like
of these further along.
big plans to like finish all of these. I even brought some half baked, but now I've just decided I'm going to only commit to my astronaut. And so I'm just kind of flicking paint to get, you know, maybe something that looks like a galaxy. And the script brush, but I think I'm going to switch to this brush. So using the white and getting it kind of like milk a little bit.
I kind of saw this image being more like of an elegant figure, and then somehow it's turned into like this
She has a beard.
grungy chick. It's not, it's a shadow.
Sorry. That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice
Now
at all.
She has a smear.
You want to make sure you do watercolor with a
got-
friend who's supportive and
got in
doesn't
my
say mean
head.
things to
Now
you.
she's wearing like a ski mask. That's
She's-
okay.
She's a
Hey, Ellie's got the astronaut, you've got the skier. How many professions can we get?
I don't know.
well,
I thought
Alannah,
going
you're such a
into
good
this-
artist. She will not have a beard for long. I know it.
I was going to try and do a different technique with. I liked how this one's going, but I feel like it needs to dry more to do some more detail.
Does this
Kind of
astronaut?
looks like an angel. Do you think?
Yeah, a black angel. I'm just kidding. Well, because the wings were dark.
Yeah. They're in shadow. This is water-soluble graphite, so I was thinking I might... Is that cheating if I just draw?
I cheated. I used it, see, to make my computer.
So real quick, just a simple figure maybe, because we're like really run out of time already.
And also, like what I'm doing right now is dry brushing. So you can kind of create highlights. This is breaking the rules. This is not what they teach you in proper watercolor classes, but it's what I do. So you can take like white and you know, maybe I want to highlight right here. Because I'm not any good at planning ahead, it's going to tighten me up. So now I can kind of dry brush that and see how it will, you know, create a highlight.
So do you think having a background in like oil painting or acrylic painting makes it easier to learn watercolor, or can that make it more difficult to learn watercolor?
I don't know, because
Well,
I
yeah,
only
because how
know
would you
the
know?
way I did it.
Yeah.
What do you think? You did it the same way.
Well, you
We'd
know-
have to talk to somebody that went from watercolor to,
Yeah. Okay, that's no one in this room.
Well, I dabbled in watercolor before,
I did
Doing-
too, yeah.
but I was better at it after learning how to draw and how to paint, I think. Because it's like you're learning about form and color and values and all those things. So I think,
Yeah, once you kind of learn, I think, how to like think like an artist and see like an artist, you can kind of translate one to the other with practice.
I don't think that you should not try watercolor if you haven't learned how to paint in acrylic or oil or fundamental drawing skills or anything. I think it can be such a forgiving medium, and it can be such a liberating, fun medium too. It's accessible. You just get paper and some pigment and some water and a couple of brushes, and you can go for it. I don't think you have to be trained artist or anything to try it, for sure.
no. Yeah, I think abstracts and landscapes, that's what I'm trying to
Oh,
say.
yeah.
Is a great way to.
Landscapes, for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, just if you're interested in watercolor, I highly recommend the watercolor foundations class that we made, because no matter what level you're at, you're
Yeah.
going to learn something.
Yeah.
If you have, you know, if you have like some experience with watercolor, and maybe there's just kind of one way that you do it, and you want to shake things up, and you want to, you know, learn some new techniques and get new and fresh inspiration and loosen up with it, that is the class for you. If you don't know anything about watercolor and you want to learn, you know, all the foundations, and on top of that, you know, how to learn it in a looser, less rigid way, they definitely teach you. Like, you learn how to do portrait, you learn how, like a realistic portrait.
Still life.
You learn how to do flowers, a bird. You learn how to do landscapes. Do you guys do abstracts?
We do an abstract.
Yeah, you do an abstract. So you get to do so many different projects with it, which is really fantastic. And by the end of that course, and it's a fairly new course, like we just came out with it not too long ago, and even already we hear really amazing things about it from people. I learned a lot from it, and I even taught in it. So because what I know in watercolor is different than what Dimitra and Alannah know. So yeah, it's really good.
I think it's really cool that there's 3 different teachers, because you learn
Yeah.
from 3 different people,
And we have different temperaments and different
Yeah.
ways of doing things.
and there is never one way to do a thing. So it's good to learn from different people in the course.
Someone's wondering, when you sell watercolor pieces, do you sell it in a frame or on a mat?
I think in a frame is good. It depends on how you're doing it. If you have a lot to choose from, you know, and you're at like a tent show or something, you
Yeah.
can just put them in a sleeve. And
With the matting board.
yeah, or with a mat. But you can also just put them just like this inside like a plastic sleeve. And then it's up to them on how they want to. What do you think of my astronaut?
That's super cool. I like
Yeah.
it.
I mean, it's not a nude, but
It's very unexpected.
it wanted to be. I mean, I sorted it a nude, but I didn't finish it. And then this is, like, it's foreshortened though. That's what's so hard about it. Like, this is the hip,
Oh,
and
I
the
see.
chest.
Yeah. That's the butt there.
the
yeah.
butt, and the belly, and the head.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you tried foreshortening from your head? You are crazy.
Yeah.
I know, it's very difficult. That's why I didn't go too far with it. But I can just kind of move. So, okay, this is like, I know we've kind of touched on this quite a bit, but I feel like you can just never hear it enough. When you're in this situation where you see the form, right? I see, you know, the face here, the hair here. This is like a chest. We're looking at her foreshortened, so the leg is coming down. So here's the knee and the leg, and it's like she's facing forward here, but then at the hip, she's got her knees to the side. So,
Sorry.
but it's a little murky in my mind, you know, and I could screw it up for sure. But I can start with an area that I feel like I can see pretty good. And so I'm just getting a wet brush here, and I'm brushing over it. And as you can see, with very little commitment, I'm barely committing here. I'm just lifting a little bit of the paint to kind of eke out or carve out that knee. And now, how does it attach to her body? I don't know yet. Like I said, this is just, you're just kind of winging it.
Some people have asked in the chat about gouache, if y'all have used it and your thoughts.
Yeah, gouache is basically, well, it is water. It's a water activated medium, and you can buy it in tubes as well. You can use it with watercolor. The only thing is the pigment used to make gouache is much larger, so it's usually opaque. You can't get as many transparent options with gouache, right?
You know what I don't know is, what is the difference between gouache and opaque watercolor?
The pigment size within the paint itself.
So watercolor just has,
A finer pigment.
okay.
That is what I learned anyway from researching.
Well, I haven't researched it, so I'm going to go with what you say. Okay, this is where it's getting scary.
You're foreshortening.
I'm trying.
I think your girls with the hips like this look like mermaids.
Yeah, maybe I can make it into a mermaid. Ooh, I like that. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, yeah. Good idea. I mean, this looks very, very mermaidy. Look at that.
Yeah, it's good doing mermaids because then you don't have to do 2 legs.
Then I don't have to do feet or 2 legs or anything. Doing a mermaid is not a cop-out.
You're finding such interesting ways to get around this. You had an astronaut wearing a big suit.
Oh, I like it. Now, where's my glitter? Where's my glitter? I like sometimes to put like a wet opaque on top of a dark. You can get some kind of neat effects that way, as you can see here. So, so that's kind of a fun thing to try. Somebody mentioned about selling art. If anybody is watching this and you are interested in selling more art and really doing art, not just as a hobby or something for fun, but really as a career, you just really want to go for it. We have a fantastic course called the Mastery Program. So it's an actual program. I mean, I think to call it a course is almost like the understatement of the year. It's actually a program that is a one-year program. So it's like 4 years of art school in 1 year. Because I did go to art school, and I went to Savannah College of Art and Design, and then I transferred to University of Georgia, and I went to 5 years of art school, and they didn't teach me anything about business. They didn't teach me anything about how to find my style, find my voice, be able to really express myself. They didn't teach me how to build a business. They didn't teach me even good artist habits. They actually kind of filled my head with a lot of gobbledygook about what it's like to be an artist and what is a creative lifestyle all about, and never led me to believe there was any possible way to actually monetize my creativity. And that is really sad. So I wanted to change that. So I created the Mastery Program, which is like going to art school, except you just learn all the things that you want to learn, like skill building things, how to actually render form and be able to draw and paint realistically, then how to deconstruct that into abstraction or expressiveness or impressionism or whatever it is you want to go in that is your voice and your form of expression, to find your unique style. And we teach you and walk you through how to do that. And then once you've found your style and you're working in your style, we show you how to create a portfolio of 25 sellable pieces. And then we show you how to build a business, how to build a personal brand, how to market and sell your work, whether it's in traditional routes like through galleries, dealers, art consultants, publishers, or it's in more modern methods like representing yourself and selling directly to collectors and building your own brand and products around that brand. So anyway, it's a fantastic course. It's revolutionary. It's changing people's lives. We have countless people that have graduated from the program, too many to count, who are now enjoying a full-time career as an artist. And we're super passionate about it. It's like our main objective is for everybody to take the Mastery Program, because we want you free in your creativity. If you have a job, free from your job, to be able to be a full-time artist, to change this world with your beautiful, incredible art, to preside over the seat of beauty and change the world. If we fill this world with beautiful things and beautiful art that grips people's heart and affects them deeply, we will change the world. And I was just listening to this podcast where the guy was saying today how we have no control over the world. We have no control. And we're just, here on this spinning planet, and it's just gonna happen the way it's gonna happen. And the best thing we can do is just keep a positive attitude. And I was like, what? Who are you? Like, let me get a hold of you. Let's have a cup of coffee. No way. I believe anybody can change this world, and collectively we will change this world. So that is a bunch of garbage. You are powerful. You are super duper powerful, and what you have inside of you, your art, will and can change this world. It just has to come out, and how it comes out is developing skill. skills that will knock people's socks off, skills that will just elevate everything, skills that are so great that when it's combined with your style, people see your art and go, wow, I gotta have that. I gotta have that. I gotta look at that every single day of my life and let it like change me. Let it bring transformation. That is how good your skills need to be, and we can do that. We can do that in the mastery program. And so it's a fantastic program. We've been running it for years, and we are refilming everything, and it's a brand new, fresh, just right out of the can program. And so the price is going up in January. So you get lifetime access. So what that means is if you buy it now at the current price, you get all the updates for life, forever. So every time we refilm it, we update it, we add new things to it, or we update it, you get the updates. So even though you're buying it at the current price, when in January when the new one comes out, you get the new one without paying extra for it. Isn't that fantastic? So if you ever are going to take, I don't know too many people that do that.
No, and I've heard from people as well that have taken other types of courses, not in the same realm, but other types of courses, and they've been told, like, if you want updates, you pay extra.
Yeah.
It's just how it is with most companies. So.
And they don't give you lifetime access.
No,
they revoke access after a while.
If
or
you
make
want
you
to
pay a
redo
subscription or
you
something.
You have to pay again.
Yeah. And we don't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't fully finish my mermaid. I love your hippie chick. She's great.
Yeah.
Super fantastic.
I love
and
what
that,
happens.
look at her boot. She's got a swank boot right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just love what happens when you don't have a plan. Like, we didn't have a plan for what we were going to paint, and it's surprising. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. If you were painting along with us, we would love to hear about it. And so take a picture, tag us on Instagram, and maybe Tanner will promote you in the stories. You never know.
Maybe, if I feel like it.
Look at him trying to be all powerful. So, okay, this was really great. Don't forget about the watercolor foundations. If you just feel like you want to pick up some new techniques, some skills, or you've never ever touched watercolor before in your life, but you've been thinking about it and you're like, I need to learn watercolor. That looks like a fun medium to work with. Go for it. And like Tanner said, the first 100 get something. I don't remember what you said.
$100 off.
Wow, that's a good deal. So take advantage of that. And if you've been thinking about taking the mastery program, now is the time to take the plunge, because you don't want to pay extra. You want to get it at the current price. Okay, well, this has been fun, and I had a blast. Look at how that granulated like that. Isn't that fun? Cool. Okay, thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next workshop.